Stats with StatCat.
That's me. Hi there. In this video, I'm going to give a quick overview of SPSS. So here I have a data file open that is from a published study, links in the description below. This study was on mental health screening in schools. There was a Australian school and a UK school that participated, and in the study the kids filled out a brief emotional wellbeing scale called the Brief Emotional Experience Scale, or the BEES for short, which was used as the primary measure for categorising the kids in terms of low, moderate or high well-being. The purpose of this video is just to give you a little quick overview of what SPS is, though. It looks a bit daunting when you first open a data file. There's a lot of usually there'll be a lot of different variables. So that's what each of these columns are. Each represents a variable, and a lot of the time researchers will use little shorthand to describe them. Because otherwise it can look a bit ugly. So in order to make some sense of the data file, click on the Variable View tab, and if the researcher has done their due diligence, they would have filled the Variable View little bits and pieces out to make it clearer what their data file is all about. Note that for the rows, these correspond to the columns in the data view. So if I go, note here we've got PNUM, school, age group, gender, num, etc. If we go to data view, it matches up, PNUM, school, age group, gender, num, etc. So let's go back. So here in the label column, that's where the researcher has just written a little bit of text to help decipher what the variable is. So for PNUM, that's just short for participant number, and that's all that is. School is, as the name suggests, and importantly, you can also dig deeper into what's going on by clicking on in the values column. So if you click on the little in the box, and then you can click on the little three dots, and a little pop-up will come up for you. And so here we've got the Australian school was coded as 1 and the UK school was coded as 2. And then we've got age group, and you can click and see that the age group, 1 equals 11 to 12, 2 equals 12 to 13, and so on and so forth. With gender, just 0 is female, 1 is male. For certain variables, like number of monitoring points completed, that doesn't have any categories to it. It's just the number of points that are completed. So that's why we don't have any values put there. Or the average score for the Bs, there's no values because that's just like an average score. If we go back to data and the B's average, it's like a score. It can range, in this particular piece of work, it can range from -9 to +9. It's like a little score. Okay, so now we can kind of, about, you've got the variables and you've got the variable view that tells you about what the variables are. I'm just going to finish off by showing you a quick way to look at some descriptive statistics, which is a common thing to do. To do that, we can go Analyze and Descriptive Statistics, and then go Descriptives. So let's say we want to know what the average well-being score was for the kids. So if you just click on the average B score and move that across into this box, you can go Options, and there's several other things you can do, but we won't worry about changing that. Just click Continue, just leave it default, go OK, and then here we go. So another box will pop up, the output viewer for SPSS, which is where it'll show all of the outputs from different stats that you ask it to give you. And so we've got descriptives, and it's the average for the B score, and it's got the number of total scores you've got, the minimum, maximum, mean, standard deviation. Pretty straightforward. Okay. So sometimes with means, you might be interested in having a little closer look at the means across multiple different groups. So for example, in the current context, we might something we could ask ourselves is, well, does the wellbeing score, is that similar across the two different schools, or is there some big difference there? Because if there is a big difference there, that's something we should probably be aware of. So in order to obtain that kind of information, you can go analyze, but instead of going descriptive statistics, there's another way to get descriptives, which is if you go to compare means and proportions and then just go means. Oh, this was here before. I'll get rid of that. Then you can just, we want to get the average B score, so move that across, and school is the group, and if you put it into the box down the bottom here, this will separate it by the school. You can go options here as well, and there's a whole list of things you can get in there if you want, but we won't worry about that. We'll just leave it default. I'll go OK. And so now, note that it gives us the mean, number and standard deviation here, and it's split it by the Australian school and the UK school. And so the Australian school and the UK school, the means are, as you can see, are really, really similar. So there's not much going on there. Let's do the same thing. Go back to analyze, compare means, but instead of school, let's have a look at gender. Move that across. Go OK. And then note it will split it by female, male. And here we do have like a bigger looking difference. Females are lower than males. So yeah, you'd want to do follow-up statistical tests to confirm that that's a statistically significant difference, but straight away you would see that and go, oh, okay, looks like there's a bit of a difference there. All right, another thing I want to finish off on is another common descriptive stat that we could get, frequency statistics. So if we go descriptive statistics and frequencies, this is more for when we have variables that are more categorical or ordinal. So let's say there is a variable in this file which is categorical, which is the well-being category based on the average B score. So I'm going to put that across and go OK. And then this will give us the low, moderate and high, and it gives you the frequency of the participants who are in that category. So you can see for low it's around 12%, for high well-being it's almost 50%. Now, similar to means, you can split that based on another variable, but it's not as easy as getting the means, because there isn't a nice little box you can do it in. So what you have to do is if you go data, split file, and then you can go compare groups, and whatever you want to compare, you move that across. So let's say I want to go, say, gender, put that in there, and then you go OK. Nothing happens at this point, but note now when we go descriptives and then frequencies, and we'll just do the same thing again as what we did before, but now the table will be split into female and male and gives us the frequencies across the female and male groups. Just got to be wary that once you've got a split on, so go data, go back to split file, it'll stay on. So if you want to start doing other stuff, you might want to turn it off by clicking all cases, okay, to keep moving on to when you're exploring your data. So that's a quick orientation of SPSS. Thanks for listening.